If he says back in October there's no need to panic, is there a need to panic now?
I think in terms of what the expectation is at Everton Women's Football Club, I think they've now got a squad, I've said it many a time here around, it excites me. And I would expect them to be higher in the table than they are. But I also believe that, everything is a process and they are battling against, some top teams in this league, top teams with, who are investing, new projects coming in. There's a lot to compete for, but it's a real privilege to be in the WSL and to manage in the WSL. I'm sure Brian is in a really prominent position as manager of Everton Women. I think that he's got a really lovely opportunity to take that group of players forward. And I just look at that team at the moment and I just can't quite put my finger on why they're not progressing at the moment. But like I said, it's not like, you could say injuries. There always has been, injury issues at Everton over the past few seasons. That's definitely needs to be accounted for. But I think in terms of consistency, this is probably the most consistent I've seen them as a group in terms of being able to execute what they want to do. I think the question at the moment is it working? And I think it's difficult because, Brian and his staff have got a philosophy in terms of what they want to do. But I think there's got to be a point where the adaptability and you've got to sort of be a bit malleable with it and go, okay, how do we start putting some results together? Because for me, as Everton Football Club, the mentality of the Everton Football Club is grit, determination, fight, fans off their feet, second ball game, but then also class as well. Players that can finish, players that can create something magical. And I think they've got players in that team who can do that. We're just not seeing it at the moment.
We saw Courtney Brosnan trying to lift them at half-time and then such a contrast at full-time, understandably. Just looks like everything had been drained out of them.
Yeah, a lot of deflation. And naturally, when you lose another game at home, a place where you want to, as I said before, keep it as a fortress, make it very difficult for teams to come there and get points. And it hasn't quite happened yet this season where they've picked up points at home, 3 points. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of disappointment in that changing room, but somehow they have to find a way to win. We talk about with the way Brian Sorensen wants to play, possession-based football, nice and pretty, but sometimes to win a game of football, you might have to go a little bit more direct, get them players, get teams facing their own goals and then cause a bit of chaos going that way. But I think as an Everton side right now, they must find a way to win.
Because they're in a battle down towards the bottom of the table, aren't they? They can't just sit there and say, oh, no, we'll be all right, because West Ham, Liverpool, Leicester have all strengthened in the areas they needed to, haven't they?
Yeah, and I think if West Ham win at the weekend, they'll go level on points with Everton. And I firmly believe that Liverpool will put a run of results together as well. I think their time is going to come. I can see the processes that Gareth Taylor's put in place, and I think Liverpool will climb. So that all of a sudden could potentially put Everton into a very difficult situation. It'd be interesting to see how Leicester progress, like you say, with the new players coming in. But all of a sudden, I think that gap between, London City Lionesses on 16 points and Leicester on 9, that could get bigger. And yeah, I think that's when I will start to worry for Everton. But I think they're precariously perched at the moment with, they also could turn results around. Because, like I said, they've got the quality in the squad to do so. But whether they can do that or not, I'm not sure. We'll see.
Just that final point on Goodison. It's also their disadvantage that the away teams are going there and enjoying playing there as well, aren't they? I mean, you're going to a ground, you could hear the Brighton fans all the way through that. And they love playing on that big open pitch as well. They're enjoying those moments.
Yeah, they are. And teams are enjoying how big the field is. The historic stadium, playing at Goodison. Pitch is perfect. Sometimes you want a bobbly pitch if you're Everton to try and get, especially then teams that like a Brighton, like a Manchester City who play possession-based football, try and catch them off guard. But at the end of the day, Everton have to make Goodison their home, make it very hard to get points there, and they have to start doing that fast.